Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is Rehab. We're just here to teach you guys about different parts for mostly TRX 4Ms right now. Kind of give you an idea of what kind of upgrades are out there, what kind of difference they make, and help you figure out what kind of parts you might want to buy for yours. My name's Riley.
My name's Junior.
So I guess we'll start by showing you what our rigs are, and we'll show you what we've done to them so far. So, starting with one of the best ones. This is my comp crawler. It's the Masus Ripper chassis. Built this thing from the ground up. It's got the Endura wide axle axles on it. They're plus 4 millimeters on each side. And in the tires, you got the plus 10 millimeter rotor spacers. So it ends up being a centimeter wider on either side. And did that because having wider axles helps you get extra flex in them. For the motor, it's kind of hard to see in there. You can post some pictures of some close-ups in there. There's a little Fury Tech motor in there with their ESC. Had a custom build a little battery tray in there out of some fiberglass. It's not fully complete yet. It's got rear steering as well. So I'm going to have to replace the servo mount and have it lay down. It'll help a lot. It's got some limiting straps on it to help with the declines. And I went with the high trail links, and the reason I did that is it pushes the axles out a bit, giving it a longer wheelbase, which helps with two things. It helps when you're climbing so that it doesn't tip over as easy. And also it makes it so the approach angle, you can walk right up to a wall on either side. And tire's the first thing that hits, so the approach angle you can climb really well. Got some brass on there, just the C hubs right now, and a front diff cover. I left the rear one as the aluminum one, trying to keep as much weight up front as possible just to help it climb. And it's got some long travel shocks as well. That's a basic rundown of this guy. Next up will be Chris's.
You gotta show him the battery tray. The battery tray is cool.
Oh. Yeah, the battery tray, it's half parts that are out of the chassis stock, and it's just some fiberglass I got at the local hardware store and some epoxy putting it together. The battery, I actually use one that's a little bit bigger than the stock one in this guy. You can see she just slides right in there, and the lock is in the works right now to keep it from coming out. For now, the wires go backwards through it to connect. The wires just kind of hold it in there. It's been doing all right while I've been building it. Yeah, that's my Mias Ripper. I've been loving this guy.
So this one is just a K10 high trail that I got. Not really a whole lot done to it so far. We got crawling gears in the transmission and diffs. The coolest thing I got are the new Endura 70 millimeter wheels with the 1.3 millimeter wheels on it. I do have some steel axles in it. And I went ahead and took the springs off of the stock shocks. It just looks better, and it actually improves the climbing as well. That's pretty much it for this one. I did, however, have to trim the body a little bit to get these axles to fit, the front and rear, but not too bad.
Those wheels are a huge upgrade. One thing you don't realize about having a bigger rim on it is how much weight it's got. Those have a crazy amount of weight, and all of it's right at the bottom. It really helps that thing stabilize and climb up some stuff, having all that weight down low. Wheels are a huge upgrade.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Next up, I'll show you my high trail. She's a little dirty, as you see. I've been playing with it. Got a wheel with a rope in the back just because it looks cool. It's one of the stock high trail wheels out of it. That got an extension for the lights, make it easier to take the body off and work on it. This guy's got a couple things done to it. Got brass hubs and C hubs, keeping the heavy weight up front. It's got brass diff covers front and rear, trying to collect as much low weight as possible. The high clearance shocks, And then these tires are awesome. They grip rocks really well. They're all sandy right now, but they're crazy grabbers. Got the high torque Endura servo. That thing, it is awesome. It's got way more power than these little guys need. And it's got the crawling gears and the axles and the transmission as well, but I have a faster motor on it. So it's a lot slower than a stock high trail is. Excuse me. But it ends up still having some decent wheel speed, so you can walk down trails with it, and it's still got some decent speed on it. And this guy does pretty good. It needs a bit of tuning. It's not all the way there yet, but we have a lot of fun with it. And this one, I don't think I've done any body trimming yet. It's got a little bit of tire rub. You can see the stickers are coming off a little bit, having a little bit bigger tires on it, but so far I've pretty much been able to keep the body how it is, just added that rope and tire on the rear of it.
So then the next up is just a Bronco, nothing really done to it. The only thing we've added to this one is we put the bottom flex blades on, pretty much just to give it the lift, and then the stock high trail wheel. So that's pretty much it for this one. Like I said, not much done to it. This one is my son's, so he put all the stickers on it everywhere.
We'll have a lot of fun with that one, building all the upgrades on the channel, teaching you guys what we're doing to it first.
And this one is gonna get axle gears in it. We'll post that video soon, but there'll be plenty more with it.
Then last but not least, this is actually the first one that I ever got that got me into these little 18 scales. I've had it long enough. I've done a lot of just tinkering with it and messing around. You can see that I trimmed the body off the back, just flipped the roof over and made it so it's a bed in there. Made a little roll cage out of it just to make it look a little nicer. The reason that I actually did that was to take plastic off the rear. It's not a crazy upgrade, but it does take weight off the rear, helping with the climbing a little bit. Mostly I just wanted it to look different. Had some extra automotive touch-up paint, so had some fun and put some paint on there. This one also has the lights with the blinkers and everything from Traxxas, and those do really stinking well. I enjoy watching those the reverse lights and brake lights and everything turn on. Underneath it, I have that same high torque Metal Gear Enduro servo. Got the shock mounts, laying the shocks down a little bit, changes the angle for how the shocks perform when the truck's in. These are the inner fenders. They're supposed to go all the way around to the front and rear, but when I cut them so that the shocks could be relocated, they ended up being so thin they were about to break anyway, so I just went ahead and trimmed those off. The hood and the bed of the truck are low enough that it still pretty much has full fenders going all the way around it. Took a long time to build up this much dirt in here. She's a little neglected. Need to give her a good cleaning. Relocated the ESC on top of the battery tray. Just trying to get everything off the rear, get it as heavy as possible, trying to give her climbing capabilities. Got the Endura front and rear bumpers. Both of them are modified though. This guy is supposed to stick down a little further, and it looks sweet, but ended up taking a lot of clearance out of it. I was rubbing on it all the time, approaching different obstacles. So I ended up cutting it off and gluing it back down on underneath it, so I could keep the weight up front that the metal bumper adds, but get that clearance out of the way. And same idea with the rear. It's supposed to hang down lower and have a spot that you can put a hitch on it. But I kept hitting that on all sorts of stuff, and it was limiting me as well. So I took it apart and put it back together with less pieces, just keeping that just sleek metal bumper on it. It's got the metal body mounts on there. It's still got the stock motor. That's one of the only things left on this that is stock. Is that the battery tray and the frame rails and the plastic axle housings. But the gears and the axles and in the transmission are all the metal helicoil low range stuff. And this is where the other aluminum diff cover off of the Ripper body went. Is I got the aluminum one on the rear and the brass one on the front. Lightening that rear up as much as I could. I like having the sliders on it. Those are from Endura also. I just like the realism of it, and having a little bit of weight on the chassis helps give it more of a realistic look and come back to center. You can have stronger springs on it. That makes it look a little more realistic. And also another thing that I do that's a little bit different than a lot of people I see is I actually seal my tires up and put air pressure in them. This and the Ripper both have air pressure in the tires. When they're sitting, you can see the bottoms of them kind of collapse. It gives it more of a realistic look to it. And they're soft. When you have a sharp edge, it really grabs onto those pretty good. So that's a funny thing I do that I like with my builds as well. Same long travel shocks. I got these ones before the ones with the little reservoirs on them came out, but I think they're the same shock besides that extra aesthetics part. That pretty much does it for it. I got some rock lights in the rear, and the headlights light up the front tires well enough, so this one's pretty fun to play in the dark as well.
Well, there you go. That kind of sums it up for what we've done so far and what we have. We look forward to being able to take you guys with us as we explore all the different parts and upgrades and what they do, and if they don't help, and if they do help, and pretty much everything that we learn, we'll take you with us.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.